So how US tariff affect Malaysia, right? So imagine this is US and this is Malaysia. We normally on a day-to-day basis we do US do exporting to Malaysia, Malaysia do US do import certain things into US from Malaysia. So giving you example for Apple products, right? So what we know so far, right? Apple products. So US also what we know is US also imposed 50+% tariff to China. So 早上中国 is China 50+% to China, right? So what we know about Apple products, a lot of them are made in China actually. So when US kind of like do this US tariff to China, it will kind of drive up the cost to make an iPhone, for example, or an iPad that we are using currently, right? So for Apple, there is two choices right now. Should I maintain the price when my costs go up, or should I increase the price? Guess what Apple will do? Most likely they will increase the price. So since Apple products are US made products, even though some parts of it is made from China, majority of the parts from China, but it's still priced in US dollars, right? So for example, $9.99 is the US dollar, right? So imagine this to be $10.99, for example, or $11.99, for example, for the next iPhone, right? Because of all these different tariff. Then what will happen to Malaysia prices? Do you think it will maintain below or increase? It will definitely be increasing lah. So US tariff, yes, it doesn't impact let's say directly immediately, but it does interact indirectly, right? So all this is just one example of how US tariff can kind of impact Malaysian. So what can I do as a Malaysian? So as a Malaysian, I only have a few choice, right? As a Malaysian, um, do I not import so much or don't buy certain things? Import, we are not giving. Malaysia is not imposing retaliation tariff, so importing will not be extra expensive, but because of all these indirect costs it will become expensive. So as a Malaysian, there's a choice for you, right? Are you not gonna buy US products? Most likely you still are, because iPhone you will still buy, iPad you will still buy. All these are very sticky products. So what about Nike? So what about Adidas? The more consumer grade but not tech grade, right? Those consumer brands like Nike, Adidas, there are a lot of alternative, for example, maybe made in other countries or even local products which we can consume. So this is just an overview of how the indirect effect of US tariff to Malaysia as a normal citizen. But let's dive it deeper, right? So for example, for a US citizen, right? Imagine you are a land of a free US citizen, right? You are in USA. So all this while, all your prices just went up overnight, because US is the largest economy in the world and they rely a lot on imports, right? So all their prices just went up. This means inflation. When inflation goes up, what's the mandate of the Federal Reserve is to maintain stable prices and also job opportunity, right? So when inflation increases, what will Fed do? There will only be one choice, right? Is to increase interest rate or maintain interest rate, right? So which path do they take? Most likely is this path where they increase interest rate. So when they increase interest rate, what will it happen? So the cost of borrowing just went up, right? So when the cost of borrowing just went up, all the tech companies or those startup companies or those companies that rely a lot on that will suffer, because the cost of business just went up, right? So when the cost just go up, right, what will it happen? Meaning that, for example, if a company, your cost just went up by, let's say, 10 to 20%, then what will you do? The largest cost expense will be human resource. This is most likely the route, human resource route, where they will start to lay off workers. And when they start to lay off workers, then this means recession. Because of this, costs will go up, and if they can't earn enough money, the earnings go down, means recession. And recession will, in the end of the day, complete the loop and drive down prices. So everything is a cycle.